This video is sponsored by Muslim Certify. What does it really look like to make hijrah and still be there 40 years later? Not for a visit, not for a study program, not for a trend, but 4 decades. In this episode, we sit down with our elder Hudayfa, who arrived in Saudi Arabia in 1985 with a suitcase, a scholarship, and no real plan B. What happened next includes royal signatures, impossible visas becoming possible overnight, launching a national television program, giving dawah to American soldiers during Desert Storm, and witnessing the country transform from landlines and pagers to smartphones and global expansion. This is what long-term sacrifice, mistakes, blessings, and real life in a Muslim country actually looks like. If you've ever wondered, how can you raise children abroad? What people never tell you about relocation, or whether hijrah is still possible today, stay with us, because this conversation is full of lessons most people only learn the hard way. Are you tired of the 9-to-5 trapping you? Are you unable to relocate because finding remote, halal income is a major obstacle? Then you need to consider Muslim Certify. Muslim Certify helps Muslim men earn anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 per month by becoming appointment setters for online businesses. Imagine earning a thriving income with just a laptop and an internet connection, giving you the freedom to live anywhere in the world and make hijrah without financial worry, inshallah. Muslim Certify has over 150 brothers in their program with plenty of success stories. Check out the link in the description for more details. All right, Sheikh. So first of all, we want to welcome you on the show. And you're one of the brothers that has been senior in this hijrah journey from amongst us. You spent over 40 years in Saudi Arabia, and it's good to get insight on that because some of us are just now having children in this part of the world, and even some of us have grandchildren, but we're still young in this journey. So I always advocate that we need to talk to our elders so that we don't make the same mistakes that you all made. We can learn from your lessons and your stories. So if you don't mind, Sheikh, if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and your hijrah journey.
Yeah, that's interesting. Where do I begin besides with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And welcome to the magical kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where the day is very long and time goes by very, very fast. And everything is possible in between. Everything is possible. It's all about, we're in a country, it's all about, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I'm sure you can relate to that, right?
Right.
I respect you, bro. Living in Egypt for 17 years, mashallah, mashallah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I became Muslim in 79. I went to school at Virginia State University in Petersburg, Virginia. And I did a work study program. My major is microbiology, and I have a minor in philosophy, basically Islamic dawah, Islamic thought. So I graduated in 82. When I finished, there was a college they opened up called the American Islamic College it was in Chicago. And I got a scholarship to go there. So I went there in 82. I mean, yeah, well, 83, 84. And when I was there, I was sending my papers out to everywhere. I was sent my Pakistan, to Iran. I was just sending my papers out everywhere, just trying to, to go and study, And I sent my papers to Medina and also to King Saud University. And subhanAllah, I was the letter came. Now where was it? Oh, I was back in Virginia when the letter came out. It was just like we had break. It was a break from the university. And a friend of mine, may Allah bless him, he passed away now, Nafis Habibi. Man, oh man, you're gonna get me crying, bro. He said, "Ya Hudayfa," he called me. He said, "Ya Hudayfa, you got a letter, man, from King Saud University." I said, "I did?" I said, "Open it up, open it up, open it up." He said, "Man, look, it's a scholarship letter." I said, "Wow, man, get out." So it was interesting, man. So he sent me the letter. I went to the embassy, and I went to the embassy with the letter. And in between time, I was talking to actually, it was an Egyptian woman. I forget her name. She was working at the embassy. May God bless her, man. May God bless her. She was so, mashallah, tabarakallah. I was communicating with her. And so I went to the embassy and I showed this one guy, may Allah guide him. I said, I got this letter because it was in Arabic. It was something in English, and and the rest of it was in Arabic. And I said, I got a scholarship to go to King Saud, and I need to come to the embassy. What am I supposed to do? And the guy looked at the paper. He said, "This is not a scholarship." My heart dropped, man. I was like, I thought it said scholarship here, you know? Said, no, it's not a scholarship. So I'm getting ready to leave, and then I remembered I was talking to this Egyptian woman. So I called her. Mashallah, she came down. She looked at the paper. He said, "This is a scholarship." And so she took the letter, took me upstairs. I sat down. She went to the ambassador, bro. He's here now. I gotta see him. Bander. So Prince Bander, so the ambassador, he got embarrassed because what that guy did to me. He paid for my ticket. He gave me money, Aki. First one, may Allah bless him, man. He was really embarrassed what that guy did. And yeah, I got a scholarship, man. That was in '85. So I came here in August '85. August is a good month for me. But that was like what 5 years later though. After I took Shahada.
So you came originally to study.
So that's what I came for, bro. That was it. To come learn little Arabic, to learn a little bit of Arabic. Came with a suitcase and a footlocker, bro. And now I have house full of children, mashallah, tabarakallah. Too many books. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all of them. And just a blessing after a blessing, bro.
How did studying turn into 40 years later?
I've been moving all my life. Like my father was in the service, so
Mm.
we lived in Portugal, and I lived the first part of my teenage years in Japan. Uh, in Japan, and then Texas, and then back to Philly, Jersey. So, but when I got, when I got here, I just, after I finished the Arabic program, um, I got married, and I finished the Arabic program in '89, and that's when I met Umas, and I got married, and so that's what kind of kept me here. And then I got a job at a school called Manarat Riyadh. Changed since then, but it was owned by the Faisal family. It was the first international school. There was some brothers from Philadelphia, Abdul Bassett and Abdul Latif. And it was I hope Bilal Phillips was here at that time. I mean, we had a really nice community at that time. So I got married, and then I got a job teaching English at Manarat. And I worked there for a couple of years, and then see again. This is the magical. Oh, please, let me be very clear. When I say magical, it's only like the word magical. I'm not saying no deep magic. I remember I said that to one brother from England. I said, "This is a magical thing." He said, "Yo, bro, you into magic?" I looked at this. He was from England, huh? He speaks English. He was from England, and he said, "Oh, magic? What are you talking about, magic?" I said, "No, I'm not that type of magic, bro. Come on, beat. Don't you speak English, man?" Yeah, so I would make it very clear. I'm not talking about no type of serious magic. I'm just the theoretical word of the word magic. I got married in '89, and my wife's from Mecca. I told you she's Saudi from Mecca. She's her name was Fatani, which Fatani is it's in Thailand. It's the northern part. of Thailand, on the border of Malaysia. So really, she's Malay. The Thais took that over. So he speaks Malay. But she was born in Mecca. Her father or grandfather came to Mecca. Right. So she'd never been to Thailand before.
A lot of people don't know that, Sheikh. A lot of people don't know how many people came from different countries and settled there, and then became.
Yeah. Oh,
That's,
Mecca.
yeah.
Mecca's. That's why. Yeah. That's a whole other story, brother. Saudi
Right.
Arabia is very different, man. From the south to Jizan, to the east to Dammam or Aramco, to the Hijaz, and I'm this part where I'm in is called the Nejd, and the Hijaz, the Mecca, that Mecca Jeddah area, bro. Remember,
Right.
Turks were here for a long time. Remember that, right?
Yeah. Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
so, and then the Africans came over, bro. And then
Right.
at one time, before Saudi Arabia hit that oil, they had buckets out. I mean, barrels of paper saying if you want to become Saudi, you can become Saudi. A lot of people took advantage. A lot of people wish they had taken advantage of it at that time.
Right.
Saudi Arabia was kind of poor at that time, bro. I mean, real
Right.
poor.
Right.
Yeah, so you got a lot of falata, but now you have you got a lot of people like black. They're Saudi. They became Saudi. They're not like Arab blood.
Right.
So that's a whole different.
Right.
That's a whole nother vibe.
Right.
Yeah. So alhamdulillah, we got married, and well, we have 6 children. She passed away I would say like yesterday, but it's definitely more than yesterday. I have Asim and Ziad, and then I had twins, Dina and Danya. And I have Zainab and Jamana. Asim and Ziad were born in Mecca, right? I used to joke with them, I said, man, you guys got the best of both worlds. You were born in Mecca and you got American passports. And I used to joke with them about that. Marrying a Saudi at that time, even now, it's not easy. It's a process. Let me say it's a process. You have to go through the government, so it's a process. So alhamdulillah, I have 6 children.
All born there.
Huh? Oh yeah, all of
All
them born
born
here.
there.
Even the last, Joanna, I delivered her in the bed, man. That was a wild day. Okay, yeah. So I got married. I worked at Manarat Riyadh. Actually, we had a really nice community back then. We were tight.
Where was that? Was that Mecca?
In Riyadh, no, in
Where?
Riyadh, in
In
Riyadh.
Riyadh. Okay.
Yeah, my wife's from Mecca, but
All right.
I'm based in Riyadh. I've been here since
Okay.
'85. I mean, so many nice things have happened. I can't even remember. I know there's some bad things that happened, but I can't remember not the bad things. Really, I can only remember the good things. That so many good things happened to me here. Really. After I left Manarat, I got a job teaching English at it's called Riyadh Cottage Military Hospital. Interesting that the hospitals here is like we're talking about 40 years ago. Riyadh was like really small. Okay, Riyadh, I can't believe how big Riyadh has grown. Aki, I can't believe how there are places. Just yesterday, I was in a place I'd never been before in Riyadh. 40 years, bro.
Right.
I thought I knew Riyadh, bro, but now Riyadh is growing so fast. SubhanAllah. So I got a job at the military hospital, right? It was a British-run hospital, so they kind of only wanted to hire British people. They really didn't want to hire me. But I had met this guy. It's amazing the people that you meet. You could be praying next to a millionaire, right? And you think you want to give him some sadaqah, right? And as we're walking out the masjid, you see him get into a BMW, a Mercedes, or he has a driver waiting for him to get into the car. And this guy's dressed in old soap, you know what I'm saying? You thinking, maybe I want to give this guy some sadaqah. So anyway, I met these brothers at the Haram during Ramadan. Those are good days back in those days. We sit up on the second floor across from the water spout. That was the spot all the Americans would come and meet there. So anyway, there was these Saudi guys that we met, the last days, everybody's talking, we're meeting people. And this guy, he said, yeah, when you come back to Riyadh, give me a call. I said, yeah, because you meet people all the time, but you're taking numbers, you meet people all the time. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know the 3 people he was with. They were all high-ranking officers. He was in charge of patient affairs. His name is Hamoud Alfred. Abdullah Mursal. He was in charge of Islamic affairs at the hospital. And Khalid Jubail. This guy was a heart surgeon specialist. He invented a technique that that hospitals are using today.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know. I mean, when I saw them in their thobes, Ramadan, I didn't know until and I go and I meet him, and this guy has all these stars and stars on his shoulder and crowns and stuff. I'm saying, whoa. So, so I went for the interview, and they politely rejected me. Then I went back to him, and I said, well, that they were really looking for British people. He said, no, just go do this. The next day I got the job, bro. And I worked there for 21 years, bro. From 91 to 2013.
Many sisters have reached out to us and asked, are there any remote work options out there that aren't only for brothers? Well, here's one. Pivot to Tech helps Muslim men and women build careers as freelance copywriters, an online career path to making $2,000 to $5,000 per month by simply writing marketing emails for other businesses. You don't need to quit your job. You don't need to show your face on social media. You just get structured training, master an in-demand skill, and get personalized support until you land your first client. If you're looking to build a flexible remote income skill that can help you actually make hijra, this could be your path forward. To see if this is for you, go to copywriting.makehijra.com. I have one of those hindsight questions, man.
Yeah.
That so people have the desire to move to the Muslim countries, and they're afraid.
Yeah, they should be.
Yeah,
they should be.
So I mean, but you've been there 40 years. So I mean, what in hindsight? I mean, what would you say? What advice would you give people that want to go, but they're afraid that that they'll lose out on some opportunities maybe that they can only get in Western countries? Or
we live in the physical world, and we even though we pray 5 times a day, we forget about the spiritual world, huh?
Mm.
And the spiritual world interacts heavily with the physical world,
Mm.
And if you want it, you can do it. Let me give you another example, another miracle, another adjuvant. A letter went to the king. Before, at that time, a student could not transfer to a resident, what they call Ikama, a resident visa, a resident pass. From a student to a resident, it couldn't be done. It could not be done. Could not be done. So a letter went to the king, and he wrote on the letter, he said, follow the procedure. The next day, brother, same letter, of course. I mean, not with the signature on it, maybe the same letter went in the hands of the T-boy. You hear me out?
Yeah. Okay.
The same letter went in the hands of the T-boy, bro. Talamrok, Akemriki, oh, Mafi Matna. Therefore, you have Uncle Hudayfa here for 40 years, bro.
Mashallah.
It's never no, Aki. It's never no, bro. It's never no. You take it to Allah. You come, man, we got the Haram here. You got the Haramain. You got Medina and Mecca here. You ask Allah. Allah is in control, bro. I'm saying I'm saying we neglect the spiritual side of our deen, even though we pray 5 times a day and we're going to fast this Ramadan coming, inshallah. You know what I'm saying? We fast Ramadan, but we forget about the spiritual part, Aki. That tahajjud, that fasting, that tahajjud, that getting up and crying out to your Lord, Aki. You know that feeling, that sakina, Aki, that feeling of tranquility comes, and those tears start coming, rolling down your eyes. You don't know where they're coming from, and you're just talking to your Lord, like sincerely from your heart, bro, and you're begging Him, which something that Allah loves to forgive us more than we love breathing. Huh? How much do you love breathing?
You have to breathe. So,
Allah loves us to ask and beg Him more than that. Huh? So if you really want, it, it's challenging, but it can be done. And I'm talking about, you're talking about 85. Okay, it was really difficult back in those days, but now it's easy.
right.
The Americans, much like they got this like 10-year visa that you can get online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Online, you can get it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mashallah,
Right.
it's based on your intention. I'm not saying coming living here is not like Jannah. I'm not saying that. 'Cause a lot of people be thinking that. Even I thought that when I first came. I remember I was in Chicago, and this brother, the Sheikh Muhammad Noor. I don't even know whatever happened. He was a Sudanese brother. He graduated from Medina, and he was in Chicago. He was with the Dawah organization. It was Rabbit Title Whammy. Really nice brother. And I told him I really wanted to come live in the Middle East, and he told me, it's not like the Sahabas are still living here, but we come with that. We're thinking that that the Sahabas are still alive here, and that that everybody's practicing Islam, and and it's like like during the time of the Prophet, alayhi salam. But you come here, and people are real, Lucky. So many Saudis told me, that so many Saudis told me, we're human too. We're human. We're not, we're not all Sahabas. And you learn that when you come here, bro. You you learn they're people, man. That when you meet a bad one, he's really bad. But when you meet a good one, subhanallah, when you meet a good brother, mashallah, he's a good brother, man. Allah blessed me to meet this one brother. Really, he was a lawyer, and he really made things through Allah's help, through Allah's command. He made things really easy for me. And the way I met him was also that was a miracle. I don't want to say a miracle. That was all a part of the
Yeah. An amazing thing. Something.
wonders of living here, because I met, there was a brother named Farouk. He he was a lawyer. He graduated from Harvard. He became Muslim, and he was an advisor for President Bush or Nixon. I don't remember. He passed away. May Allah have mercy upon him. He passed away, but he came as a student here, and we were close. At the campus, there were not that many Americans at the campus at King Saud. A lot of students went to Medina, and I got accepted at King Saud, and he was there. He did an interview, and a lawyer. Because he was a lawyer. He did an interview on television, and a lawyer contacted him, and the lawyer that he met became my best friend, Dr. Muhammad Hoshan. He passed away not too long ago too. But he really made, mashallah, he made things happen for me, man. I love that brother, man. Mashallah. The last thing he said before he died, he said, "Ya Hudayfa, fear man Allah." Yeah, so it's possible. If you really, if you want to come, it's possible. And now it's so easy to come, to come. But you do have to be prepared. When I got the job at the military hospital, I told you my degree was in microbiology, and my master's in Islamic studies, so Dawah, right? Philosophy, whatever. There was this redneck. He was the head of the department, English department, and he said, "Son, if you really want to live here, you need to go get your papers right. He turned me on. That's how I went to Egypt. I told you I went to Egypt 3 times. That was the second
Right.
one. I went to do to the American University of Cairo, but it was run by the British Council, and I got my CELTA, and that's something that people should get if they're going to come over here and they really don't have uh, a profession that might work here. IT would work here. I mean, IT is going off the hook here. You can definitely find work like that, but most of the people that I know, Americans that are living here, are teaching English.
Mhm.
That's slowly phasing out now too. Um, yeah, so he told me, he said, go get your CELTA. I'm so happy I listened to him. I I am Aki. Man, I'm just the blessings, Aki. Just the blessings. That's what I'm calling. I'm not calling miracle. I'm just calling blessing, visual blessings, Aki. So when I went to Cairo and I did this. It's not easy. The CELTA is not leave. It's expensive now. I mean, when I did it was like $800. Now it's up like $2,000, maybe even 2,000
Right.
something. You can take it anywhere in the world. If you go to there's a site. It's called Dave's Cafe online on on website. It's called Dave's Cafe, and it lists all the different places you could take the CELTA.
Mhm.
But I suggest that and if people really want to come and they want to make, you have to have money. You got to pay the rent.
Right.
You get that CELTA, you can get a job anywhere in the world teaching English because people really want to learn English. And
Right.
so I got the CELTA, and mashallah, it's just been downhill since then. I retired from the military hospital in 13, and I just started doing some freelance work, teaching English here and there. And then now I'm teaching at a school. I'm teaching at a school called Dome International School. I'm teaching
Mhm.
literature, and I've been there since 2007, no, 2017. And I'm teaching English there. I'm still, at my age. And keep in mind they have an age limit here too to
Right.
work for the government. At 60, they cut it off. And 61 at the most. No, let me just leave it at 60. And remember, the Hijri calendar is different than the Gregorian calendar.
Right.
You keep that in
Mhm.
mind. So when you reach that age 60, working for the government is not possible.
Mhm.
And that's for Saudis as well as non-Saudis. That 60 age is serious. That's very serious about that.
Right.
But then
But you
again,
can work in the private sector.
yeah, barely,
Mhm.
barely. Yeah, but it can be done. Can be done. I mean, I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mashallah.
and again, it's never no, bro. It's
Mhm.
never no, man. It's
Right.
never no, man. It's just, you know, man plans and God plans, and God is the best of planners. Allah's the best of
Right.
planners.
Right. Right.
Allah's the best of
Right.
planners, man. So and it's just, you meet someone. This is the thing too. Um, you meet people. Like I said, when you meet a good person, brother, he likes you he loves you for the sake of, we talk about love for the sake of Allah. You
Right.
know, you learn what that means when you come here. Love for the sake of Allah. If someone loves you for the sake of Allah, he loves you, bro, and he
Mhm.
loves you, not
Mhm.
not your friend, and not someone else who needs help. He loves you,
Right.
and that's something that you got to keep in mind.
Right.
Uh, because sometimes you meet somebody that's really wanting to help you, and then you go and tell your friend, and you mess
Right.
things up.
Mhm.
You bring somebody else, and now he's turning different colors, and you're trying to figure out, oh,
Mhm.
right, this is, so this is Allah's blessing for you.
Right.
That's something else that you have to keep in mind too. And briefly were talking about, your intention to help people, helping people for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means you shouldn't be expecting someone to say thank you after they helped you.
Right.
That's something Abraham Smith was talking about. I think you and Abraham should do that. That was his idea. I don't want to go into it, but yeah. So anyway, yeah. So with the American soldiers, me still being here. Umasan passed away about 10 years ago. Actually seemed like yesterday. And I'm still here, bro. You know, if you want to come and make Hijrah, you have to really want to come and make Hijrah. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
You have to want it. You have to want it.
Right.
Although things are a lot better than when I first came here, I think, whoa, oh man,
Mm.
you know, living here wasn't easy, bro.
Mm.
You know, the weather for one thing, the food, the food and the weather and just dealing with the people and the language barrier, you know, that's a lot of things that you have to think about, right? But now things are so different now. It's so easy now. Much on this online stuff. I'm like I told you, I'm not very IT-ish at all. But this
Right.
online stuff, it's totally it's amazing how things are getting done now. Things have changed now, you know.
Right.
So it's definitely possible, you know, if you plan it out. A lot of brothers are going to Morocco, which is nice, but you don't have Mecca and Medina, but still you're still living with Muslims.
Right.
Like you
Mm.
said, Egypt, you know, you're in Egypt, and I've been. What's the word I recommend? I'm losing my English. I admire you for being able to live in Egypt like that, bro. Mashallah, to better color, because I know that ain't easy.
Yeah, it's not.
I know that ain't easy, bro. But it's doable, right?
Oh yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, yeah,
That's the thing. If you want it, Allah will give it to you, but you gotta want it, bro.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You
No
know,
doubt about that.
Shaitan is one jinn that is serious about what he's about, man. As you
Mm-hmm.
can see the world, man.
Right. Yeah.
Do you say you can believe without being tested?
Mm-hmm.
Shaitan is he's on that, bro. He's gonna keep.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Shaitan at one time, he loved Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
Mm-hmm.
right? He loved Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was so his worship was so tight, that he was allowed to mingle with the angels, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It was only to that arrogance came in,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the arrogance, that pride came in with Adam.
Mm-hmm.
With another story, I would talk about how the condition of black people and Shaitan. I don't know. That was another thing I would like to talk about, but not now. But he's honest, man. He's honest. So I mean, you talked about making hijrah. He's gonna say, no, you stay where you at. But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, bro, I'm telling even you, I'm sure all of us, never been so proud to be an American than when you travel, bro. How many people you know at home? How many of your friends got passports? Your old friends. How many of them got passports?
Probably none of them.
Yeah. How
None of them.
many
Yeah.
how many have traveled outside of the city, Aki? How many have traveled outside the neighborhood, Aki?
Not many.
SubhanAllah.
Not many. Yeah.
I didn't even know what
Yeah.
a green card was when I came here, Aki. An I-20. I didn't even know what an I-20 was when I came here.
Mm.
You know, and like we mentioned before, you know, that what's the first thing that people ask you when you meet them?
yeah, yeah. Where you from?
Where you from? Before they give you salams, they want to know where you from because they want to fit
Yeah.
you on the totem pole. They got this
Mm-hmm.
totem pole here, bro. You know, and at
Right.
one time when I first came, you know, Pacific people had Pacific jobs. Okay, the
Right.
National Guard Hospital was run by the Canadians. King Faisal Specialist Hospital was run by the Americans. The
Mm-hmm.
military hospital I was working at was run by the British. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Security at that time was all Sudanese. Um,
Mm-hmm.
teachers, teachers were all Egypt. Oh, actually, their education system was based off the Egyptian program because all the
Mm-hmm.
teachers here that the ministry, I mean, the ministers from the administration of the Ministry of Education was run by Egyptians,
Mm-hmm.
right? So every nationality had a job. You know, the people from Bangladesh,
Right.
they're the ones, they were either drivers or the ones cleaning the streets. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody was on this totem pole, and
Right.
you had the white, the Caucasians at the top, you know, from
Mm-hmm.
America, Britain, whatever else, and you go down, and then because we're Americans, we're at the bottom, but we're still Americans, and we're still got
Mm-hmm.
that blue passport, which, by the way, our ancestors paid for that.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
at
Yeah.
home, you know, we're not really, you know, we don't know about being proud of being American, and with the exception of the political situation now. Well, I mean,
Mhm.
you know what it is, but still, that blue passport opens up. Doesn't it open up doors for you, bro?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah.
What country? Okay, we can go. Oh, and I looked. The students, we looked on on the on the. They looked it up as which country could go. Which had the most powerful passport. I thought it was America. It isn't.
No, I think it's Singapore. Ain't it?
It's Singapore. Yes, they can
Yeah.
go to any country. Singapore and then Switzerland. I think it's up.
Mm.
They're up there, right?
Right.
But Aki, we can go. We can go to the airport and get a visa to go to any country, bro. Basically, at the
Right.
airport.
Yeah.
At the airport, it can be done at the airport, right? Even Egypt.
Yeah.
We can just go and get there. You give them that little bit of money, and they stamp it there. You get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other countries, Aki, they got to go and apply out for people from here to go to America, bro. The
Mm.
process.
Download our free guide to Saudi visa and residency types and get clear, practical insight into the options available to you, who they are for, and how to get started. This guide is the first step to planning your move with confidence. Visit saudi.makehijra.com and get your free copy today. I wanted to I wanted to ask you about how do you see? I know that you got married, you had children, and I don't know about you, but like for a lot of us, we're not really thinking that far ahead, you know.
You know,
So no, I mean we're just having them. I mean, a lot of us are. We just having them,
that's true. That's true, Rick. Because
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out my plan B, bro.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to ask you about. I mean, how old is your oldest?
Awesome is now, whoa, 39.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Mashallah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, well, how does that look? How does that look living there? I mean, as far as education and careers and family and grandchildren and all that stuff.
That was one of the questions I wanted to avoid. You asked me when you sent me the list of questions. You said you want to do other questions. I said, dang, I'm gonna answer that one because until now I haven't figured out after all this time I have not figured out I have not figured out my plan B yet, quite yet.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
And that's something that really you have to really have a plan B.
Right.
And I'm still trying to I'm embarrassed and I'm still trying to figure out that plan B. Man, Asam told me so many times we should buy a house, buy a house. Now, I mean, here you can own property now, but back then it was a little bit difficult. But I hesitated, which I'm brothers, listen to your wives when they talk to you, man. Don't be so
Mm.
arrogant, man. Listen to your wife. My wife kept telling me we should buy a house, and I was thinking, dang, if I buy a house, what happens if I have to leave? And so, I'm saying all that, but I certainly wish I had to listen to him
Mm.
and bought a house. That's something I'm thinking about now doing, because you got to leave something for your children, and
Right.
then once you come, about your children, how your children going to stay, and the education. You mentioned about education. Private schools are very expensive here,
Mm.
although a lot of people are doing homeschooling,
Right.
so that can be done. If you put them in the public schools, remember that they only speak Arabic here.
Mm.
So for the younger kids, it'll be okay because they can learn Arabic. You know what I'm saying? If you put them they're
Right.
real young, they can learn Arabic, but it'll be
Right.
difficult for them. But older kids, you can't. I mean, how are you going to put them in high school? And private schools although there are quite a few here in Saudi Arabia now, but they're a little bit expensive. Not a little bit, they're expensive.
Mm.
So unless you have a decent income, that's something that you need. That's going to be a challenge. And then again,
Right.
before, what do you do? What do you do when your kids outlive your dream?
Mm.
That's a whole nother topic you should talk about.
Right.
When your kids outlive your dream, what do you how do you do that? How do you work it?
Mm. What about higher education?
Mashallah, when I first came, once you finish the mahad, you could automatically, no matter where you came from. That's why when I mentioned Morocco, I had a lot of friends from Morocco. A lot of friends. I was with when I first came, I was a roommate with my roommate was from Liberia. He was when I got he was in the college. He had already entered the college. I was in the, and mashallah, may Allah bless him. Yeah. Mashallah, tabarakallah. Oh man, my memory, mashallah. He really helped me out a lot. But he was in the college, so once you finish the mahad, you could go into the college. Now, for a while, it was like only for Saudi, but now it's coming. Now it's going. The shift is going back. You can apply to go to the universities here. You can get scholarships. But when I first came, it was like once you finish the mahad, you went straight into the college, right? No matter where you were from. And they would give, and the interesting thing here, they give you money. They give you what is called the mukafa allowance.
Right.
And that was a fitna, bro. When I first, because I was in I didn't know any. My Arabic, I didn't know any Arabic when I came, right? The first words I learned after Salam Alaikum is Inshallah Bukra.
Right.
Inshallah Bukra, bro.
Right.
If you didn't get things done before Zuhur, they say Inshallah Bukra to come back, God willing, come back tomorrow.
Right.
Oof. Okay, just trying to dealing with the culture. Okay, culture differences. We come, like I said, we come from a country where we do it ourselves. We want something done. We do it ourselves. We don't have to go to nobody. But here, the system is set up that you have to ask. You have to ask people. And that's another thing. That's another barrier to get over. Point. I had a friend. That worked in the passport office called the Jawazet. That's a nightmare, boy. It's a nightmare. He was an officer in the Jawazet, and I had gotten an exit reentry visa for my boys who were going to go somewhere, and then we didn't go, so I had to cancel the visa because they would be a fine if you didn't cancel the visa. So I said to myself, my intention was to go to the passport office and do it without going to my friend. Right? I wanted to do it without going. My intention was to do it without going to him, because I was, you get asking people to do things for you. But here the thing is, people love to do. They love to do things for you if they love you. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. So if you find someone who loves you for the sake of Allah, he loves you, bro. So my intention was to go to the Jawazet, just to go, and all I wanted to do was cancel the visa. That was it. Right. This is before the online stuff. I wanted to go and cancel the visa. So I said, I don't need to go and see Abdullah. Why, didn't we go and do it? So from the very beginning, the guard at the door gave me problems. The list is old. I said, no, I got in. After that 15 minutes of Monakasha, this dialogue, I got in. And I'm going one place to another place, to upstairs, to downstairs, to this place, to this place, to this place, to this place. After about 30, 45 minutes, I got tired. I was like burning up. And I went to Abdullah. And I said, he looked at my face and said, what's wrong? I said, I told him, I said, I came and I just wanted to get an extra entry visa. Cancel the extra entry visa for my boys. And I didn't want to disturb you. And he says, look, you got this, what you get what you deserved. Allah put me here for you. Allah put me here for you.
Right.
By the time I sat down and had my first cup of tea, he came back with my passports with the visa canceled. He said, this is what you get, because Allah put me here for you, and you should use, I'm here for you.
Right.
So we live in a country where people, ahlan wa sahlan, like welcome to my home is real.
Right.
You can have a car accident and you're angry at the guy, and the guy's angry at you, and then at the end he just says, well, look, why don't you just come over to my house for lunch?
Right.
Or you just meet someone in the street, and they invite you in.
Right.
I was in. Okay, I hope I'm not talking. You got me thinking. I was in Hyle. You know Hatamatai?
No, what is that?
He's the most generous. It was right before the Prophet Muhammad received his revelation, but his son became Muslim. His son became Muslim, but he was very known for his generosity.
Right.
Hatamatai. He was very known. He is from this area called Hyle.
Okay.
I went to Ohio for a conference, and then I was with this guy, and he was talking about Ohio, this, Ohio that, Ohio this, Ohio that. I said, okay, stop the car. We were in the car. I said, stop the car. And I just went to any house. I rang the doorbell. I just random. I just picked a house. I just want to let this guy know Ohio wasn't all that, right? I'm living in Riyadh. And I rang the doorbell. This young boy, about 13, 14, in his early teens. You know, he came to the door. And the brother introduced me. And he said, Tafaddal, please, ahlan wa sahlan. Akhi, he was pulling my arm. He said, please come in. Ta'araf ala Abi, come meet my dad, you know?
Mhm.
I said, no. I was just testing. I'm just testing, you know? But Ohio, man, I love Ohio. Generous people in Ohio, mashallah. Interesting. So yeah, what was the main? What would be? Oh, talking about education. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Keep. I'll wander off. Like you gotta.
No. It's all right, Sheikh. It's all right. It's all
Yeah.
right.
So the education here, a lot of the people here are doing homeschooling. If you and some of the some Americans are like working at international schools, so they'll get like a discount, or their kids can go for free,
Right.
or they'll make some kind of arrangement that you can have like Manarat, you could have let's see, you had 3 kids can go. They had some kind of deal that you got 3 kids could go for free, and then the other one you had to pay like a small percentage. They would take it out your salary.
Right.
So that's why a lot of people like were working at the Manarat, because it was a good package. It was a really nice package. That school has changed hands so many times now since then. But you know, there's arrangements that you can make, and then I mean, if you're doing IT, woof, I mean, you can get a contract making real money.
Right.
And, you know, they pay for your housing. They put you on, I don't know if you really want to live on a compound, but they put you on a compound, and you know, the driver, the whole. I mean, you get the whole 9 yards. You know, you got that type of, you got that type of knowledge, you know, that they're looking for here.
To get our help creating a personalized, bulletproof plan to move and stay in your desired Muslim country within 90 days, go to hijraplan.com. So, Sheikh,
Yeah, go ahead.
so, you know, you came in a time where there wasn't even internet.
Yeah, there was no internet. No, there was no.
Right.
I seen that change.
Right.
So, and you know, this is. I want to conclude here, but inshallah, I want to stay in touch with you, and
Please,
because you have a lot, you
please.
have 40 years of experience. So, but I really want to help people understand that there were people that were doing this before. You know, now it's becoming kind of popular and trendy, but brothers and sisters were doing this for a long time. And you just didn't have a social media or anything where brothers can on their phones and take photos, pictures of where they were at and everything like that. And then some brothers were a lot more private about what they were doing.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
So if you can just in conclusion, just tell us a little bit about some of the people you met. You don't have to name names, but just to give an idea of the people that were doing this before now. I mean, before the.
You got Bilal Phillips, right? You got brother Bilal Abdul Alim, Big Bilal. They call, like in Riyadh, they call me the Godfather because I've been here for so long. But there's people been here longer than me, bro. Brother Bilal Abdul Alim, Big Bilal, we call him Big Bilal. He was in Mecca. He's in Jeddah now, but he was at
Oh, he's still around.
Yeah.
He's
You
still around.
got to interview him. He's been here since the 70s. Since the 70s, he's been here, bro. He was a student at Carter. He graduated from Carter. He got his wife also graduated from Carter. He had a degree in Sharia, and then he was, I think he was the head of the English department. He was teaching English at Carter for a long time, Lucky. And he retired from there. So Bilal Abdul Alim, Abu Sanan, he was Diawuddin, he was in Medina. Sheikh, I'm forgetting names. Jet, Allah understand. I forget his name. Mateen. Mateen was in Medina. Okay, they were, man. Yeah, there was a lot of people, bro. People that I met when I came in '85. There were Safi and Neji, who are they're in the Washington D.C. area. They have a school in Springfield. I think in Springfield they have a school. They were here. They were here before me. When I came, they were leaving. Brother Abraham Sadiq, he was here. He's still in Jeddah. He was here. I met him here.
And some people have passed away there.
Yeah. More people than I want to count right now. Brother Abraham, another brother named Abraham, Bilal Ibrahim, he just passed away. He was in Jeddah, based in Jeddah. There's a name I'm trying to remember, and I can't, and it's gonna hurt me because after I get off, I'm gonna remember. No, there was a lot of when I so when I got a scholarship to King Saud University, but most of the brothers got scholarships to go to Medina,
Right.
to study in Medina.
Right.
Brother Anwar, Brother Anwar and Anis from Philadelphia, they were here. They came with their father, and they went to high school here. They're both Hafiz Quran. They were here before me. They have a masjid in Philadelphia called the Kuba Masjid, which is one of the first masjids founded in America, in Philadelphia. Oh, Sheikh Ali Ahmed is here in Jeddah. He did the Islamic Center in Philadelphia. That's where I went when I first became Muslim. I went to Philadelphia. The Islamic Center was on Broad Street. Abraham Smith, he's relatively new, although he's been here for I think he's been like 30 years, maybe Abraham, 20, 30 years he's been. And in the early days, I mean, there's a lot of Americans here that I don't even know. And then that, unfortunately, that super seller thing happened here for a minute. And that also caused that hurt me. That hurt when that happened. You give salams to your brother. He gives you that salams coldly. I've been here before this boy was born. He's gonna look at me with attitude, and that threw me. I didn't really, I really wasn't following it, and when it happened, that was like in the early 2000s. The 2000. Actually, for some reason, 2000 is like a blur to me. I'm still living in the 90s for some reason, bro. And because the 2000s just went by, so we're 2026 now, Lucky. I can't believe that. So many things have changed in between the time, Lucky. It's just Oh, you were talking about the internet, yeah. But when we first came, I had my name. My name was on the list just to get a telephone. Which I have sitting over there right now. Sitting over there, you can't see it right there, but sitting over in the corner. It took me a year on the waiting list to get a telephone. Telephone came, and then from the telephone, and then there were some people had the box phones, the big ones.
Big mobile phones.
That was too expensive. That was way expensive. So that was for the special class. And then, the pager came.
They had a pager there?
Yeah, that's when the pager came. And then when the pager came, we had a lot of telephone booths, right? You had to get telephone booth to answer the pager. And then the email. And then the email came. No. Then the cell phone came. The Nokia phone came, which was like really expensive. It was like, to get a phone, it was like 10,000 reals, something like that. When it first came to get a telephone, it was like mobile phone to get a wall. It was like 10,000 reals. Then it went down to 8,000. Then it went down to 500. Then it went down to, that's when the BlackBerry came out, and then the Apple phone came out, and it came down to now the card. The chip is free, but you got to. I think if they charge you a service fee, 25 reals.
Mm.
The dish, I'm like I said, the dish really, when the dish came, oof, I seen the change, bro. I physically seen the change. It was amazing how
Yeah.
life changed when the dish came. Yeah, so I've seen changes, man. I seen Riyadh grow. I mean, like I said, just last night, I was in an area I'd never been in. I was lost. I was like, whoa, where did this come from?
Yeah.
Mashallah. All right, Sheikh. We appreciate your time.